Everybody, just about ready to put my generator away. Like a lot of you, we had a big, huge winter storm blow through here right before Christmas, and we put this thing to good use yesterday. First thing in the morning, our power went out, and then it came back on for a little bit in the afternoon, and then again it went out after dark. So twice yesterday, we had this thing fired up to keep the heat running. So let's take a look at me getting this thing hooked up and fumbling around in the dark and trying to get the lights back on. Power's out. It's about 5 o'clock at night. This is the second time today. We're in the middle of Winter Storm Elliott, which at our place actually ended up being entirely rain, but crazy 50-mile-an-hour winds, and we got well over 3 inches of rain already so far today. And now for the second time today, the wind has knocked the power out. So it's time to get that generator running. Good. Okay, first off, gotta turn on the fuel. I'm talking to you, Jack. Choke. Turn it on. Here's the starter. Got lights on. Okay, here we are at our main breaker panel. Open this up. This is called a generator interlock. And basically, this is my generator. The interlock prevents you from being able to turn on the breaker physically unless I turn off the main, which now opens up this slot. Slide this thing down. Oops, slide that thing down like that. There we go. Back to civilization. All right, as you can probably hear, the generator is running right outside the door here in the garage. But we had to run the generator earlier today, and I didn't fill up the tank before I restarted it. So I'm gonna go get some gasoline out of the shed before this thing croaks, and I gotta do it all in the dark. All right, let's see. Get a gas can here. Oh, the ramp of the shed here is starting to freeze up. Temperature has definitely dropped off. Unlike everybody else, this storm for us has been actually in the 50s. But we're going to drop down to 12 degrees tonight. So I definitely want to make sure. Woo! I'm going to fall down on this ice. Watch it go. Hey, see you later. Get this shed locked up. Bring this gas can back inside and get the heck out of here. I'm not gonna lie, that is deteriorating rapidly outside, so I'm glad I have this gas can right here ready to go, because I probably have about 2 hours of gas left in the generator, and it's gonna drop down to minus 12 tonight. So glad it's right here next to the door. We can sleep sound. If we wake up and we're cold, fill that guy back up and ready to roll. All right, of course, it's very important to keep these things maintained. So late in the fall, I went through, I used up all of the remaining fuel that was in this thing. Checked the spark plug, I changed the oil, and just made sure everything was running well. I ran it actually for a couple hours during the afternoon just to make sure everything was working good. So you got to make sure you keep these things in tip-top condition so it doesn't fail you when the time comes to actually use it. Okay, one important thing to note about storing any sort of tool like this is this, for example, we didn't use last winter at all. We had no need for it. The power didn't go out. So this thing will sit for quite extended periods of time. So one thing you want to do is make sure there's no fuel in the carburetor. So while this thing is running, and you're about ready to turn it off, you come over and you shut off your fuel, and you just wait for the engine to stall, and that will basically burn up any remaining fuel in the carburetor so that there's nothing in there to gum up and hopefully screw up your carburetor before the next use. Okay, and of course, before I put this away, I want to make sure it's ready to use next time, so I'm going to go ahead and top off the fuel. And as I mentioned earlier, this sat for 2 years last time, so I'm going to use fuel stabilizer like this. This is a nice mixed bottle where you can just squeeze up a thing for however many gallons you happen to have, and you add that to the fuel before you put it in the tank, and that will allow the fuel to last about 2 years. Of course, now it's time to bring these back to the gas station next time I go to town, fill these up so we're ready to go. Okay, and one last thing before I tuck this in for its next usage is I actually have a little battery charger here, and this keeps the starter battery topped off for the next use. All right, there it is in this little parking spot, all plugged in and charging, ready for the next storm. Thanks for watching today, folks. I hope you're staying warm out there.